What are the drones over New Jersey? Some reports saying the size of an SUV. I find that hard to believe. But then again, who knows? They're saying they affected emergency landings or emergency room landings. I don't know. Drones over Jersey. This news story is weird. Luigi Mangione, his lawyer, Thomas Dickey Esquire, Mr. Dickey Esquire, has done a few on tape questions, answered some questions on camera. And I'll tell you what, if you ever seen the movie My Cousin Vinny, Mr. Dickey, Luigi Mangione's lawyer, has a My Cousin Vinny vibe. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the accent. Maybe it's how he carries himself. I mean, Thomas Dickey. I like him. I know Hassan was saying that he's going to need a new lawyer for New York, but I'll tell you what. I 100% like this dude. And he's been quick, good on off the cuff, answering questions. I've watched a few, I don't want to say press conferences, but he's just answering the press's questions. And at one point, when they're talking about people donating and trying to email and reach out to Mr. Dickey, the representative for Luigi Mangione, who is being held in connection with the United CEO assassination, when he was asked about taking donations or people wanting to donate to the fund, to the legal fund, he said, you know, if the Supreme Court says that billionaires and corporations can donate a ton of money to politicians and that's their right to free speech, then this is the people's right to free speech. Putting their money, I guess, but that's always been the case with America, right? Citizens United really solidified that. And it's not so much free speech, the irony in the name of that, but it's how much money you got is how high up your speech or how valuable your speech or how sought your speech is. So this Mr. Dickey, who reminded everybody too, he said, we're pleading not guilty to everything. He says, I haven't seen anything that, you know, has made me think otherwise. But he also said that we are all presumed innocent until found guilty. It's a good reminder. Randall Flagg, who do you think you are? I am. Exactly. I am. It's good advice. I am. You must be a manifester. I am. So yeah, the Mr. Dickey Esquire, interesting news. We'll talk about that, more about the donations and what he said and that they're pleading not guilty. And then a fascinating study. Again, if you're new here, I go live every weekday. My name is Rob. I do commentary on the news, the very anti-establishment with a very je ne sais quoi, how do you say, deny, defend, depose attitude on life. So it would mean the world to me if you hit subscribe and the notification bell. Hello to everybody joining. And I try to link all the articles I talk about down below, so you can read these things for yourself and surmise your own opinions. Have your own commentary, you know? When people say, oh, don't talk politics or religion. Bullshit. Shame on them. Everything is political in America. Have an opinion. Form your own. You know? And feel free to be wrong and stupid. That's the whole point of being young. Be young and dumb once. That way when you get older, you say, I got those experiences. So, other fascinating news from sciencealert.com, or I don't know. But they're talking about how Americans, Gen X specifically, may be affected by lead in the gasoline. I remember growing up, when there was an option where you'd say unleaded, or they used to say unleaded. I don't know if there was a leaded option. I don't even think. I mean, at some point there was lead in the gasoline. That's what this whole scientific study says, that the fumes caused by the gas, people that live closer to motorways, I think this is probably a British study, that it's really affected the youth. Or specifically, they said people born from 1966 to 1986. And then they called those people Generation X, which I've never heard Generation X go up to 1986. And I've always stand firmly on the fact that I am Gen X. That's all I heard growing up. Me, the kids older, we're all Gen X. I'm like the youngest Gen X. And then some bogus people came out with the study saying that millennials are from 1980, which I never heard that. But okay, whatever. I think we're just either we're the elder millennials or we are the youngest Gen X. See, even my generation doesn't even, we have no place to be. Even my generation is like lost within the generational, within the generations. We're lost. That's so funny. Solus, what's up? Who's your favorite drummer? Hey, do you happen to know Stu Redmond? Do you? No, do you know Stu Redmond? Randall Flagg? How's your favorite drummer? Who? Wubzio. Hey man, I'll bring you to the Coke bag in a second. Be careful being parked there. I'm waiting, Wubsy. Come on, man. How appropriate when you're parked in a corner on Lynn. Wubsy. Come on, man. Delete that comment, homie. We don't want to get caught. No, I'm just kidding. I've been clean and sober for decades, man. And for anybody looking for sobriety, I wish you power. Go to some meetings. It will help. My favorite drummer. That's a good question. My grandfather. I like Bonham. I like that Bonham triplet. I gotta learn that. So anyways. Oh, that was so good. Oh, okay. So, welcome to everybody who is here. I mentioned the headlines. We'll get into it. We'll provide some commentary. There's a lot going on with this Luigi Mangione story. A lot. It's hard to digest it all because there's so much. And it's very interesting. There are YouTubers who I'm just learning about who are defending the CEOs. And like I put in the comment section of Hassan's thing, because he's been covering, I think, the most fairly, like vocally opposed to the American insurance industry, which like you'd figure that's an easy take to be like, this for-profit healthcare system sucks. Like, it doesn't matter if you're wealthy. If you're wealthy and you're like, hey, it's not bad for me because I'm paying $5,000 anytime I get sick or need medication. Like, you shouldn't have to. I don't care if you're rich, poor, left, right. I don't care. Like, the whole reason humanity has advanced science in the medical field to where we're at today is so people could access it. And the fact that these CEOs gatekeep it for money is absolutely atrocious. But you're seeing people. And again, I don't know who some of these YouTubers are, but I know they do commentary, and I know they've basically been defending even Pod Save America. Timothy Mnemonic, what's up, man? Thank you. The government put more effort into finding this man than they have the Epstein list. Listen, thank you for being aware of that. I bet you're Mr. Beast. You Mr. Beast? I hate Mr. Beast. Can't stand him. But I'll tell you what, Mr. Beast is probably very thankful that the news coverage is what it is, because he was all over the place for a little bit. And I still think we need to focus on that scumbag. I can't believe that if you go to the trending section in YouTube, he's trending. He did another unoriginal, lack of fucking thought content video where he said, his video thumbnail is, I bought everything in the grocery store. I'm like, bro, at this point, you just buying shit shouldn't be content on YouTube. Like, let's be real. Who cares? It's surreal that people are like, oh yeah, that's the content I need. I need to see somebody buy all the eggs in the aisle. That's what I want to see. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. Wake up, put on YouTube and just watch somebody buy all the food. Meanwhile, you know, they're going hungry. It's so funny. Oh damn, that dude's finding money on the fucking ground. Oh my God. Oh my God. That dude just found like, hey, Wubsio, just walked by. Hey, Wubsio, just walked by. Oh, there's some dude that just walked by and there was 20, 40, 60, 80. It looks like 4 different 20s he picked up on the ground. I'm so mad I didn't see that. He's about to disappear. Oh yeah. God damn. See what happens? Always keep your head on a swivel. That's wild. That dude just grabbed all that money and left. Wubsy, is this your corner? Dude, you're not going to believe this. Yo, is this your corner? I don't know who that was, but I don't know if I should be here when they come back looking for it. Because I'll tell you what, I ain't no snitch. I don't work at McDonald's. Oh, man. Now that's stressing me out because that was a lot of money. That was like 80, 100 bucks in 20s. Sorry, guys. Yo, I'm back with the milk for Santa's cookie. Odin. What's up, Odin? Good to see you. I just found 40, 60 buck buds. Ooh, good for you. Remember, cannabis is not a drug. It's a medication. I don't know where that dude went, but he just slid a bunch of 20s into his back pocket and up and outed. Maybe it was his money. I'm just going to assume so. Just watched Home Alone. That's a good one. Don't watch Home Alone 2. Trump's in that one. Worst cameo in a movie ever. I forgot what I was talking about. I'm sorry. That really distracted me. That dude rolled up here and just started plucking 20s out of all those leaves. And then disappeared. I know it was my money. I ain't got that many 20s. Cokes and Wubsy. Throw it all on red. What? My God. Cannabis is God's medicine. Amen to that. And it is a medicine. You know, if you listen, the government has a patent on the oxy, what is it called? The oxidants, I forget what they're called. Not oxys. Something properties, like the health properties. They have a patent on cannabis. The government put a patent on cannabis back in like 2000, 2001, around there. So they've known it's a medicine. They've known medicine for a long time. And even the Nixon administration helped criminalize cannabis. Admitted. They were like, we did it to criminalize our opponents. You know, anybody who spoke out against us, which were minorities, the hippies, the yippies, you know. So that's clearly, it's, you know, it's only illegal to criminalize certain factions of society. That's it. But it's good to see. I never thought I'd live to see the day where it would just become legal. It just become the medicine it is. And it's an amazing medicine when you read the stories. Sorry, I'm looking for money. Catfish. Oh, catfish from like the 90s? Oh, no. I seen the movie. And then they spawned it off into an MTV show. Catfish. Go watch the original movie. That's a fascinating piece. The show, that's probably all, you know, reality TV, wink, wink, nod, nod. Damn, I forgot what we were talking about before that. The dude taking all that money was distracting. Now I feel like I'm missing out. I gotta look down when I'm walking around. What were we talking about? Luigi Mangione? People donating to him. And his lawyer, Mr. Dickey, said that it's essentially, you know, the Supreme Court legalized giving billions of dollars to politicians from corporations, and they made that into a free speech issue. So his lawyer, Mr. Dickey, said people donating or wanting to donate to Luigi Mangione's legal fund is essentially their right to free speech, is what the Supreme Court said. And we were talking about the people who were defending the CEOs. Now, mind you, these CEOs, if you hear people pull up the defense of like, oh, it's inexcusable or violence isn't the answer or whatever the fuck these lambs are saying, it's okay to celebrate. It's okay, especially if you've heard any of the horror stories. Notice how many mainstream news stations are not bringing on people who have suffered at the hands of these insurance companies who are denied their medication, how they're not spotlighting, you know, what spawned all this. This kid had needed back surgery, something wrong with his back. Again, the details aren't clear. But what we can gather from this is Luigi had some constant back pain, which is debilitating, that would, you know, bring you to a point where you hate the system. And again, he's innocent until proven guilty. So we don't even know. And jury nullification could just totally nullify these charges. But this whole incident is really, the spotlight is focused in a weird area, you know? Like they're bringing on all these police to talk about it, which why would you blame on the police? The police couldn't even find this dude. It was a snitch at McDonald's. Like the police didn't even solve this crime. The police did nothing besides put pictures, put out the old photo on a milk carton. That's all they did. They didn't catch him. Somebody at McDonald's did, okay? So to interview the people who failed miserably for 4 days until the public was like, all right, we'll do your job. We'll do your job for you is hilarious. But the people who are defending this, especially like Pod Save America, I think that's what I was talking about. Ronald McDonald is a snitch, man. Why do you think he wears so much makeup? Conceal his identity. So Pod Save America, who was just on Jimmy Kimmel the other week talking about Trump, and I thought they eloquently and hilariously talked about the Trump administration and the buffoonery happening. And now here they are, the same dude, you know, saying like, you know, guns aren't going to solve. I'm like, bro, this is America. The unification around one cause, left or right, with that one action has been broader than all the organizing, all the protests, all the Occupy Wall Street. It has brought people together, woke people up. And if people have an issue with that, with the violence, well, number one, this is America again. Like when they were like, you know, Luigi had a gun on him. It's like, bro, this is America. Everybody's got a gun on them. Everybody. And that's how they wanted it, right? Isn't that what everybody wanted? Like, just guns to be everywhere. It's so weird that now they're like, I had a gun on them. I'm like, bro, people deal with this every day. Kids are going to school and being taught what to do if there's a, you know, an active whatever, I'm not going to say. It's horrifying. And now the news and some of these bootlickers, these independent journalists are saying like, oh, this isn't the way. What's the way? Because if you tell me policy is the way, then obviously you're not paying attention, you're stupid, or you're paid well enough where, you know, you're scared you might get eaten next. Especially like the Elon Musks and the Trumps who are all talking about civil war. Once they realized the civil war wasn't going to be between the poors in the country, and that people are starting to be like, oh yeah, it's the CEOs. It should be the poors versus the rich. Once people start to identify those memes and start sharing those memes, all of a sudden they're getting real fucking, you know, dicey on things. But this action, you know, it's so interesting to watch the media interview police, again, who did not do anything in this crime besides release some pictures. It's so interesting to watch them to ignore the real issues, the corruption that United Health funneled. I'll link it active. What? You know, I blame Barney, the pink dinosaur. Yeah, that bastard. They should be investigated. Investigated for what? You know what I mean? I should have linked. I was just reading a Jacobin article. My only magazine that I subscribe to ever in my life, and I couldn't keep subscribing because I make so little money because United Health takes all my paycheck for health insurance that I can't use. But Jacobin just did an article on how United Healthcare, since the introduction of the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, whatever you want to call it, in 2010, United Health Group, United Health Insurance, this group, the CEO was murked. They have funneled $120 billion to shareholders through stock buybacks. That's our insurance system. That's our health care industry, quote unquote. That they're enriching $120 billion. This company made $22 billion in profit after they paid for everything. $22 billion in profit. They're paying shareholders in stock buybacks $120 billion. Okay? While people are sharing their stories right now on social media and take their money and throw it in the street. The thing is that we should just be able to have a healthcare system like in England and Canada and Denmark and Sweden and I don't even know. Lots of countries like in Cuba. Cuba has the most teachers and most doctors, and it's all on state-run stuff. We should have a system where our life expectancy here in America is dropping, but the market cap and the profits for these companies is ever expanding. There's no limit to how many profits they'll take, but there is a limit to how long they'll let you live. And there are people sharing their stories right now, and you don't see the news. You don't see these other YouTubers sharing those stories. In fact, I'd like to, I mean, it's personal though. You know, you see these people share personal stories about their parents dying. Their parents, I just listened to one earlier about some kid who his mother died from being a diabetic. And it also sucks that Jimmy Kimmel kind of was the only one to cover this, I think, appropriately so far, with being a late night talk show. But then on Kimmel's show, if you watched it, it's up on YouTube right now, he has the Hawk Tuah girl do a fake parody movie trailer, which I thought, Jimmy, man, it just shows how out of touch a lot of this country is, and it's not the working class. So be careful who you're listening to. Be careful if they're trying to defend. They're saying violence doesn't do anything. Really? Violence doesn't do anything. What's America doing half the time? Why are these same people cheering on the vigilantes who are gunning down other working class people? Why are these people, you know what I mean? Like, they like their kind of violence. Why do they like when cops are violent? You know? Don't listen to them. The other amazing thing that was shared, but then Snopes debunked it, but I'm like, there's some truth to this, is did you see the Luigi, the Nintendo Luigi hat with the L on it? The post that someone shared that said 100,000 Luigi hats were bought yesterday. Green Luigi hats. Hawk Tuah girl is going to prison. I hope so. Man, to rob all those people that put their trust in you. You know, explicitly, her people said, if you watch all like the CoffeeZilla stuff and you read and you go and listen to their interviews, they explicitly said, like, we're not going after crypto people. We're going after our fans. Like, we don't want people, this is not targeted at crypto people who know something about crypto and can understand what a rug pull is, because it's happening, you know, multiple times a year by these half-baked celebrities like Hawk Tuah. They said, we're seeking the money from the people who put their trust in us, the fans of Hawk Tuah. Like, they went specifically after their own fans and they effed them over. That's a different kind of fucking evil, man. Be like, hey, the people who trust us the most, let's rob them. Jesus. So we can only hope she goes to prison. But the Jimmy Kimmels, oh man, the Pod Save Americas, all these people are so out of touch. And they're just not reading the room. Because right now, listen, the reason, and the Snopes thing said 100,000 hats weren't sold. The Nintendo Luigi hats weren't sold. But if you go and try to find a Luigi hat on eBay, they have the Mario, they have the Wario. They don't have the Luigi. The Luigi sold out. Because I went and tested that. I was like, man, I know Snopes is probably owned by a CEO. All these CEOs are going to show you how much influence they have over the news and the media and what the perspective and the narrative they want to sell you. But when I went to look on eBay, because I try to buy stuff from other people on eBay, the Luigi hats, even the Waluigi or the whatever the upside down Luigi one is, they were all sold out. So people are getting these Luigi hats. In fact, man, best Christmas gift ever, right? Get the Luigi hat. Interesting times, man. So yeah, that's all the news I wanted to talk about. I got to get that Jacobin article for you guys to read, because I highly encourage people to read these articles for themselves. That's why I share them down below in the description. But I think it's fascinating that 120 billion was funneled to shareholders at the cost of what? You know what I mean? Like, these CEOs, it's so funny. George Carlin called this years ago, the language they use. When they talk about how their expanding profit margins are, you know, gonna bring in this much money for shareholders. Well, how did that happen? insurance had to get denied. For the people, for the YouTubers who are saying, this CEO didn't personally deny your claim, he oversaw the whole thing. They came up with the strategies of how to deny more claims and not take the blame for, oh, sorry, it's just the system. Well, how do that, systems don't just appear. People create the systems. And these CEOs, look at their resumes. Go to their LinkedIns, folks. They brag about their profit margins. They brag about the revenues. They brag about how they're able to save the company money. Remember, if you think a company is your friend, they only exist for profit. You know any companies that are going into the negative and they're like, hey, we're just around because we really love people? That's not how it happens, folks. That's why this is a finite fucking system we're living in, capitalism. Because they can only extort so much from the workers. So the people that are like defending the CEO say he didn't, no. He oversaw. He was the dude at the top who implements the system. When things get adjusted and you have to get another pre-authorization and then another denial, and then you have to fight it with your claim. You have to have a claims adjuster come in and fight for your right to get the health care that you've been paying for all year anyways. They set that system up. They're the reason. They profit. Like Hassan was talking about, if we just had a nationalized healthcare system, the CEOs would be the ones that are gone. There would be no shareholders, no CEOs. We would still have people that in the healthcare industry working and still getting paid, but it's just, it wouldn't be for profit. Remember, the government doesn't exist. I know people say, I've heard this forever. I think they're the dumbest people on earth. They're like, we need America to be run like a business. No, we don't, because businesses only exist for profit. The government is services for people. The fire department, the post office, streets, all these things. They're services. They're not supposed to generate profit. They're supposed to provide a service. And how is that funded? With our taxes. So if we had some kind of socialized healthcare like the rest of the world, unbelievable. Everybody else in the world gets it. Sometimes America even funds it. We're paying for it with our taxes. The only people who would be in danger of going out of a job is the CEOs and the shareholders. But that's not really a job, is it? Timothy Mnemonic. If Americans can all agree that clean air, water, food, and shelter should be a human right, then it could be enough for us to unite and overthrow this ridiculous. Agreed. Agreed. And it's so crazy. Like, it's so weird to me when people are like, oh, you're a communist, a socialist, you're a radical leftist. I'm like, because I don't want lead in the water. I think if your mom gets sick or your kids need a wheelchair or somebody need, like, you should just have access to it with your tax money. What? Radical left socialism. People are so dumb. Like Fred Hampton said, if you're scared of socialism, that means you're scared of yourself. Oh, I miss Fred Hampton. All right, guys. That's all for today. Thank you guys for hanging out so much. If you could, hit the notification bell. Hit subscribe, and after you do that, please hit the notification bell. I said hit the notification bell first. I meant hit the subscribe button, and then after, because people are like, what's the bell? After you hit subscribe, it will turn into a little bell. I think YouTube changed it. And then you can hit that and say notify all. And then when I do go live tomorrow, because I go live every weekday, you can join me, because I love the commentary. Soulless, you going to be on Fortnite later? Fortnite did a first-person shooter thing. I tried it out yesterday. It's weird. I don't like it, but I want to try it again. But if you're not going to be playing Save the World, come play some Battle Royale. All right, man. I'll try to hit you up. I'll send you a request later. Oh, and we have a Discord. Soulless has been doing an amazing job helping build out the Discord. So a link down below. And just be mindful of the narrative, the perspective, the language that these outlets are using. I know I just do jokes and commentary and I'm not to be taken seriously. But one serious thing is, like, be aware of what people are feeding into your head or what narrative they're trying to, ask questions. Like, why are they thinking about it like that? Or why are they trying to make you feel bad for something that maybe you shouldn't feel bad for? They don't feel bad when they're celebrating record profits and 100 million, $10 million a year for denying old people and kids the medical treatments that we as a civilization have worked to get to in 2024. They celebrate that. Don't get it wrong. Go on the investor calls. If you invest, you can go on the calls and you can listen to them. Be so elated that they've met Wall Street's expectations. They're recording record profits. Just because they call it record profits doesn't mean it's not murder by paperwork, okay? Language is important. So, have a beautiful day, Timothy. You too, man. Thank you. Much love, much respect. And keep your head on a swivel. Never know when you're going to find money on the ground. I can't believe I've seen that earlier. All right, peace.